People often say silence is golden, but in crucial moments, silence can become the sharpest weapon, inflicting unexpected wounds. In a world where injustice, misunderstandings, and conflict sprout from indifference, choosing silence is not merely avoiding confrontation, but a decision that leans toward depression, wrongdoing, and stagnation. Have you ever buried your voice out of fear of risk? Perhaps when witnessing a colleague being treated unfairly at work, or when outdated family customs clash with personal values. That silence not only protects your temporary safety, but also turns you into an accomplice. Today, we will explore 5 situations where silence is not only a wrong choice, but also a betrayal of one's self-respect. These moments demand courage, clarity, and decisive action, core virtues of Stoic philosophy. Before we begin, I would like to express my deep gratitude for your enthusiastic support. My joy is in creating this content, and my greater happiness is in reading your thoughtful and encouraging comments. I cherish every message. If this is your first time here, please hit the like button and turn on notifications so YouTube can spread this content to more people. Now let's face the hidden power of our voices together. Situation 1, when injustice prevails. Injustice is not merely an abstract concept, but a silent poison gnawing at the foundations of communities and relationships, destroying trust, dignity, and fairness. Silence in the face of injustice is not neutrality, but an active act of aiding the spread of poison. Stoic philosophy elevates justice not only as a virtue, but as a sacred duty. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This saying encapsulates the truth that when harm exists anywhere in a community, it will harm everyone, including those who choose to remain silent. So, what makes us choose silence? Usually it's fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of retaliation, fear of isolation. These fears, though very human, can bind us, turning us into accomplices of the very evil we wish to avoid. But ironically, silence, seemingly a way to maintain peace or avoid conflict, often creates deeper chaos. Silence is fertile ground for injustice, and injustice, like an infected wound, only worsens when ignored. I learned this lesson deeply in my early career. A colleague of mine was wrongly blamed for a mistake that was not theirs. I knew the truth, and I had the opportunity to speak up, but I hesitated, convincing myself that it wasn't my business, and that intervention could jeopardize my position. The fear of being the center of attention silenced me. Watching my colleague endure baseless criticism, I felt like I was witnessing a slow betrayal, not only towards him, but also toward the values I hold dear. The remorse of my cowardice haunted me, and I realized that by choosing my own safety, I failed my colleague, and I failed myself. Over time, I understood that silence in the face of injustice is a betrayal not only of the victim, but also of the integrity we always pride ourselves on. Fighting against injustice does not always require heroic actions or grand words. Sometimes it's about small but courageous moments, speaking the truth in a meeting, standing by someone who is wronged, or simply refusing to look away. These seemingly small actions will spread, nurture trust, and inspire others to do the same. Stoic philosophy teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but acting despite fear. Injustice can only thrive when good people choose silence. Silence may offer a momentary sense of safety, but it weakens our character and allows evil to continue its reign. Next time, when you witness injustice, ask yourself, is my safety more important than another person's dignity? Is my fear of conflict worth the price of aiding evil? The lessons from this are clear. First, standing up against injustice builds moral character and strengthens trust within the community. People will remember those who dare to defend righteousness, even when it's difficult. Second, our courage will inspire others. Every act against injustice lights a path for others to follow. Finally, silence never buys peace. True peace comes only from the presence of justice, not its absence. Remember, speaking up against injustice is not only a courageous act, but a humane one. Injustice can thrive in darkness, but even a small light can dispel it. You don't need to change the world with a single action, but by choosing to speak up, you create a ripple effect, contributing to a brighter world for us all. Situation 2. When personal boundaries are violated. Boundaries are not mere fleeting preferences, but invisible lines that define respect, trust, and integrity in every relationship. When someone crosses those lines, your silence sends a dangerous message that your limits are negotiable, that your comfort and dignity are secondary to the desires of others. Stoic philosophy teaches us to cherish our core values, not to let external influences dictate us. As Epictetus said, "No one is free who is not master of himself." Protecting your boundaries is not an act of hostility, but a declaration of self-respect and a lesson teaching others how to treat you. I once had a relative who repeatedly borrowed money without repayment, accompanied by sweet promises. Initially, I justified their actions, believing that helping family was my duty. But over time, those requests became more frequent, and the amounts grew larger. I began to feel resentment, not only because of the financial burden, but also because I realized I was being taken advantage of. Finally, after another request, I decided to confront the issue. I explained that, despite caring deeply for them, I could no longer lend money without clarity and responsibility. I set a firm boundary, willing to help in other ways, but not financially. Initially, they felt hurt and defensive, but eventually accepted my perspective. It was a difficult conversation, but it helped me protect my financial stability and maintain the relationship on a healthier foundation. This situation revealed a profound truth. A lack of decisiveness in protecting boundaries leads to exploitation and fractured relationships. When we allow others to continually cross our limits, we not only compromise our principles, but also shatter the foundation of mutual respect. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we are responsible for how others treat us. Setting boundaries is not rejecting others, but affirming self-worth and demanding interaction based on fairness and respect. How you communicate your boundaries is crucial. Convey your message firmly yet empathetically, ensuring your intentions are clear without being confrontational. Explain how the behavior affects you and suggest necessary changes. This approach fosters understanding and avoids unnecessary conflict, allowing both parties to move forward with clarity and mutual respect. Boundaries are not walls of separation, but fences protecting what matters most to you. By speaking up when your boundaries are violated, you send a powerful message. You value yourself and expect others to do the same. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to become like your enemy." Instead of harboring resentment or avoiding the issue, respond with confidence and integrity. Doing so, you not only protect your own well-being, but also build healthier and more respectful relationships where trust and understanding truly flourish. Situation 3. When mistakes need correction. Mistakes left unattended tend to spread, becoming serious problems like cracks in a dam. Initially, they may seem small, but gradually can lead to dire consequences. Correcting a mistake is not an act of criticism or blame, but protecting the integrity of the entire system. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of courage and responsibility, especially in circumstances where silence seems a safer option. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, "What stands in your way is the way." In the context of mistakes, this means directly addressing problems is not an obstacle, but the path to progress. In my early career, I witnessed a serious error overlooked during a team presentation. It was just a small detail, a miscalculation in a report, seemingly insignificant. But I realized that if left uncorrected, it could lead to a series of wrong decisions. I hesitated. After all, it wasn't my fault, and speaking up could embarrass the responsible person. But as Stoic philosophy often emphasizes, the issue is not personal, but the common good. I mustered my resolve, interrupted the discussion, and pointed out the error. The room fell silent, and I sensed the tension. However, instead of creating conflict, addressing the issue led to productive discussion, preventing a costly mistake later on. This experience taught me that correcting mistakes is not criticism, but responsibility. Stoic philosophy stresses that courage is not just physical bravery, but the willingness to act morally and responsibly, even when it makes us uncomfortable. When you correct a mistake, you not only protect the immediate outcome, but also set a precedent for honesty and vigilance in your community. The key to handling mistakes lies in your approach. Address the issue respectfully, focusing on solutions rather than blame, and ensure your intent is to improve, not demean others. By doing so, you create an environment where mistakes are not feared, but welcomed as opportunities for growth. Ignoring a mistake for the sake of false harmony is irresponsible to everyone, and often leads to more severe consequences later. Remember, correcting a mistake doesn't make you a troublemaker, but a guardian of truth and progress. As Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The same principle applies here. How you handle mistakes reflects your character. Speak up when you notice an error, not to assign blame, but to ensure the common goal remains untainted. Doing so, you align yourself with virtue and build trust with those around you, fostering an environment of integrity and excellence. Situation 4. When your expertise is a beacon guiding others. Knowledge is not just a personal asset, but a sacred responsibility. When you possess expertise that can alleviate burdens, untangle knots, or bring clarity in moments of darkness, your silence is not only indifference to others, but also a betrayal of yourself. Stoic philosophy always upholds the spirit of empathetic humanity, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." Your knowledge is a tool to serve the community, not a trophy to be kept in a glass case. I vividly remember a moment when a close friend was sinking into the depths of grief after losing a loved one. Having experienced similar pain, I recognized the signs of emotional isolation and despair in their actions. But I hesitated, fearing that my words would be clumsy or intrusive. But as the long days passed and their silence grew heavier, I realized that my hesitation was not protecting them, but abandoning them in their pain. One evening, I decided to speak up. "I understand how difficult this pain is. I've been there. If it helps, I'd love to share what helped me." That simple offer opened a conversation they were longing for, and gradually, my insights became a source of comfort and guidance. Your experience, especially painful ones, can be a beacon for those who are lost. Whether it's listening to someone facing a health crisis, giving financial advice to a friend in debt, or sharing your journey of overcoming addiction, your expertise can be a lifeline. The key is to approach with humility and compassion, never assuming you have all the answers, but showing that you care enough to try. A sincere phrase like, "I've been through something similar, would you like to hear what helped me?" can create a safe space for sharing. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control. You can't erase another person's pain or guarantee that they will accept your help, but you can control your intention. Share your expertise, not to seek recognition or praise, but because it is an expression of your commitment to creating positive impact. This choice strengthens relationships and builds trust. Silence, when your knowledge and experience can alleviate another's suffering, is not humility, but refusal to offer a lifeline. As Epictetus emphasized, don't explain your philosophy, live by it. Sharing the lessons you've learned from your hardships is a noble act of service, not only uplifting others, but also deepening your own sense of purpose. I am eager to hear your stories. Please hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below to share your experiences, successes, and the challenges you've overcome. If you're unsure what to write, just type, "I can do it," to show that you completed this session. Your interaction will help this community grow together towards wisdom and the art turning every challenge into an opportunity. And finally, I sincerely thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. If you find it helpful and meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support me in creating more quality content. Thank you very much.